Oh yeah! What's up, creepers and geekers? Christy Atari Creep here. And if you like listening to me babble, this is the video for you. Um, Past month has been pretty good to me as far as pickups and a bunch of other things. So I figured, what the hell? I'm just gonna cram this all into one video. Still haven't found a new hat yet. I can cross that off the list of things to say. No hat. One thing I really did want to get into, though, a little bit more. Last video, I believe it was, I mentioned that my phone had died and I lost a lot of footage. There's a couple of videos I had slotted up for the next, say, month or so. And I was working on them, and when that phone completely just... I lost all the footage. There's one I'm going to definitely try to redo again, if I can find the time. But another one I promised out there, and I didn't see the point in doing it, but I was doing it anyway, was my Sega Genesis versus Super Nintendo video. I filmed a lot of stuff for that, and I was actually doing real editing. And I got maybe about 75% done with it. I mean, I had some really great footage there. I didn't just give you my opinion. I got the two little kids. They're 8 years old here, including my girlfriend, who never really played any of these games. I put controllers in their hand to see which ones they liked better, stuff like that. Which console they thought was a better looking one. I got noobs and novices and people who don't know what they're not into this, to give me their realistic opinion. And of course, I was just doing it for fun, but long story short, all that footage is gone. And if I were to do it again, it wouldn't be genuine. So I figured maybe I'll just do it, sit and talk about my feelings on the two systems, maybe my history with them, and then give you my opinions at the end. But until then, sorry guys, that video is no longer with us. It has split its mortal coil. So, with that said, I will be working on a couple other videos. I got one that I'm really excited about, but I have to do a lot of research so I don't mess up anything. I want to give you actual facts, but it has to do with Atari and Nintendo. Lately, I've been doing a lot of like Nintendo-ish stuff. That was another thing. I wanted to rant about that new Nintendo Mini Classic Plus thing that's coming out. And I had a really great discussion topic on that, but it's gone. But I will be working on that other one here pretty soon. I got a lot of research, a lot of pictures, a lot of sources, and I just wanted to let you know what wasn't and what was coming out here in the future. Last, before we get to what you're really looking forward to, Atari.io. I mention them all the time. For a while there, I had like a little thing about them in my intro. I lost that a while ago. I had to reboot a phone. And they're really a great group of guys. Now, in the last video, I mentioned, like my buddy Justin over at 8-Bit Kitty decided to nominate me as Gaming Personality of the Month. And a bunch of other things I just feel very fortunate to be, honored with. Shortly after that video was posted, Justin, another guy named Justin, over at Atari.io, messaged me and said, "Hey, Chris, on our forums, I don't know if you've noticed, but in the YouTube page, we've pinned a couple of specific people that we really like. And we've been wanting to ask you to do it, but we weren't really sure how you would, react." So at first, I wasn't sure how to react. Of course, I was gracious. I was honored, and it meant a lot to me. But the problem with that is I'm not really very active on their page as much as I really would like to be. And there's no other reason for that besides time. Same thing with all you guys in your videos. There's a whole bunch of you that when I started out, we were all, I just haven't been as active. And really, honestly, it's about time. I moved into a completely different situation. I'm working full time. I got the girlfriend. She's got the two 8-year-olds. So time is a luxury right now. So for that, I do apologize. But that's just, I guess, how life goes. But I thought about it, and I wasn't going to accept because of that reason. But I said, you know what? Why not? They're offering it to me. They obviously think I deserve it. Me and my girlfriend discussed it a little bit, and she says, "Chris, just go ahead and do it." I've never wanted this to become a huge page because I just don't know if I could handle that, and I'm happy with how small it is. But any little help is it's good. But long story short, go into Atari.io for more than just that reason. But their forum is amazing. They have weekly chats. I mean, they have chats every night, but they focus Wednesday night for a specific thing. I missed this past Wednesday. Sorry, guys. Um, the page is just, it's a plethora of information. Some of their older blogs are on there. They're still continuing with blogs. It's just, go over there and find what's over there. It's a great website. So, Justin and the Atari IO guys, thank you so much. I did accept, and yeah, I hope everyone goes over there and checks it out. So, you guys want to see what I picked up over the past month? I've got quite a few things to get to here. Some epic stuff. So much because of what I paid for it. But that flea market has been really good to me. It's been tough going. You understand this flea market only has a handful of sellers that are there every week. And they usually selling like fruit, or they have those boxes with the prices on them. It's usually cheap toys from China and stuff like that, but in household cleaning products. But the majority of it is basically if you clean out your garage or your basement and you're like, you know what? I don't want to do a yard sale, so I'm just going to go to this flea market and do it. That's what most of these people are. There's very few people that are there every week that I've seen. In fact, the first week I went there when I got all those NES games for like $5 a piece and he cut me a deal, I haven't seen him since. And he's the reason I've been going back. So like 1 week I'll go and there'll be nothing. Next week I'll go and I'll score. So let's get right to it. This is in no time frame particular order. That's just how I have it on the table here. So this past weekend I went and there was this young man who was moving to another town and he was unloading some of his collection. When I say he was a young man, I think he was 12, 13. And we sat there and talked for a little while. And I honestly almost didn't buy the stuff. But he made it very clear that he needed the money more than he needed the games. And he was able to rebuild the empire. He didn't say those words, but... So I graciously took some off of his hands. I gave him my number. And I said, if you ever get back in the market in the future, whatever, go ahead and contact me. I'll help you out as much as I can. He's going to stay here in the States. So, long story short, these are the things I picked up off of him. A bunch of NES games. We got 1943 to start. Great shooter. This is going to be the theme for these, except for maybe one or two games. I like this better than 1942. I don't know why. Maybe because it's Capcom updated. It is Capcom, right? Yeah. That would have been a fuck up. Capcom updated the hell out of this game. It just seemed to be extra fun. Not that 42 is bad, but I like this one better. I love it. Here's a game I've been wanting to get on the NES for a long time. And I don't know if it's just one of those games that are so common and never available, if that makes any sense, but Burger Time. I love this game. I had the Atari version, or I have the Atari version, and I want to say I've played the Coleco version, but this has always been my favorite. And only because it's so true to the arcade, in my opinion. And this is such a great game. It's so different. It's a platformer, but you got to build burgers, and I fucking love burgers. So, I mean, how can you go wrong with Burger Time? You throw pepper at people? I love pepper. And pepper is a weapon? God, whoever was making that was right here. All right, so Cybernoid. I don't know why I have to look at this every time I say its name. Maybe because it just spells so weird, or the font is fucked up, but there's a mixed bag on this game. I think it's pretty cool. It's got its flaws, but you know what? If you just kick back and take a deep breath, and drink a little coffee and knock over a couple games, this is a pretty fun game. I don't see myself playing it often, but it's a great game. Not as often as these next two. Gradius. I love this game. This is one of the first shooters I actually played. Yeah, it's just such a great game. If you've never played it, you got to pick it up. I'm not even going to explain it. There's enough information out there. This one I was really excited about. I love, again, same with like Burger Time and all that. This is a really great port of Gyrus, or Gyrus, however you want to say it. I've had the Atari copies, and I've played the hell out of those. The Atari computer I thought was one of the best until I've played this one. This is just one of my favorite games in general. I wouldn't say top 10, but easily one of my favorite games. And I never owned it on the NES. Maybe, again, it's another one of those so common, it's tough to get your hands on. I don't know. And last from that, Legendary Wings. Another shooter. Another little take on things. Dragons and shit, whatever. Or Pegasus. I don't know what the hell is he supposed to be, but I know there's dragons in it and stuff like that. But it's a great game. I love playing that game. All right, so where else are we gonna go? This is just some random stuff. I got these for $1 each from some lady. Egg Mania, whatever. I don't even have a PlayStation 2, but it was $1 and it's complete. Um, I plan on getting a PlayStation 2 eventually because I do. I think it's a great system. It's a nice, whatever. But, $1, you can't complain. It looks like a fun game. I got a couple of Sonic DVDs. I don't normally collect stuff like this, like I did with the Mario one and gave it away. Maybe eventually I'll do another giveaway if I ever make 200 subscriptions. I'm like that close. Maybe if I bump up to 500, I'll do a giveaway. I know Mr. Paku Paku and I have been talking about doing weekly giveaways. I don't have the inventory to do something like that, but I do have a bunch of doubles and stuff like that I would like to put into something to pay it forward to you guys. So, and nothing's epic. It is what it is, but maybe this will eventually go into something like that. Another random find. I don't think I got this at the flea market. I can't remember where I got this, but Dukes of Hazzard. When this game was first announced, I got super excited. Obviously, when the PlayStation was still relevant, the original PlayStation, because I loved this show growing up. I grew up in the Northeast, so I'm not really a Southerner, but this was one of those shows that I could always still watch. I love it. The cars smashing and just the campiness. Daisy Duke. Come on now. How many of you fapped to that when you were like 12, 13 years old? I know I did. Long story short, every time I would go into a store saying, hey, is it out yet? Is it out yet? They'd all look at me like, what the hell are you even talking about? And then just randomly at this place called Child World up in Saugus, Massachusetts, it finally showed up and I picked it up. And it's a hard game to play because the driving mechanics suck. But if you can get past that, this is such a great game. I love it. So, enough about the Dukes of Hazzard. The light's flickering over here. I wonder if this place is haunted. All right, couple Sega Genesis games, which brings up another point. I was looking at my Nintendo shelf picture. I got quite a bit of Nintendo stuff. And when I was rearranging my Sega stuff yesterday, I realized I have, no games. How the hell did that happen? But it'll get there. First game I picked up for the Sega Genesis in this lot was Star Control. This is a weird game. I do remember playing this back in the day, and I know it's one of those ones that you really should have the manual with you. But I'm going to give this one a good try. You just have to look it up. I can't really describe it. Just look it up. It looks fun as hell. And Eternal Champions. This is a fighter game I've never played before. It is complete. I do remember seeing people play this and going, wow, that looks pretty cool. And I know it's another one of those you have to memorize all kinds of weird button combinations. And I get a lot of mixed reviews on this game when I talk to people about it. Some people are like, oh my God, I rented that every week. It was such a great game. And other ones are like, yeah, I was more of a Mortal Kombat guy. And I can totally see that. But I'm hoping to find someone to fight with on this because I hate playing the computer on these things. Because they're either way too easy or they cheat like hell. But I was able to pick this up for a couple bucks at the flea market and bring it home and slip it on my shelf. And it looks fun, and I can't wait to get wrenching in on that one. So I'm going to skip the last game, which I know if you follow me, you know what that game is. I haven't mentioned it yet. I'm going to go to this next deal. Again, like I said, that flea market is basically people selling stuff from their house, more like a yard sale, all in one location. And this lady was zero exception to that. I mean, that's exactly what she was doing. Now, I didn't see any gaming stuff, but I still, things get buried on tables and stuff, especially when you have a lot of crap you just want to get rid of. And I noticed an N64 popping out. It was this bad boy. So I pulled it out, and I was like, how much do you want for this? And she kind of ignored me for a second. And then I started noticing that it came with the matching controller and all the paperwork and all the cords were with it. So I asked her, how much do you want for it? And she just kind of looked at me. She was nervous to say this price. She was like, how about $5? I was like, yeah, I can do that. $5. Yeah. Gave her $5. So, of course, that's a smoking steal. But it also came with this goofy rubberized aftermarket controller. And they both have great thumbsticks. I'm not going to lie there. I haven't used this controller yet. I don't know if I ever will, but it's good to have around when I want to start playing Mario Kart with you later. But it also came with a matching memory card for the controller itself, which I thought was cool. I didn't see that at first. But she also had Mario 64 and GoldenEye. And that's why I looked at her. I said, $5 for everything? And she's like, yeah. And she was okay with that. And I kind of felt bad at first and said, you do know what these things are generally worth, right, in the market. She's like, I don't care. I just want it out of my house. So, I assured her I'm not a reseller. And she even said she didn't care. She goes, go ahead and make $1 million on it. I don't care. Just get it the fuck away from my house. So I got the Smoke Rain 64 with the controller and all kinds of crap and the 2 games. And I was happy to bring it home. Now, you all know my love-hate relationship with the N64. And I don't know. It looks cool on the shelf, so we'll figure it out. Will I pass it forward or hang on to it? Last, but definitely not least, this is a game I've wanted to have in my collection probably from the day I started collecting again in the early 2000s-ish. I don't know why it eluded me for so long, but then by the time they started popping up again, people wanted ridiculous amounts of money for it. It is easily in my top 3 favorite games of all time. And even though I am not a SNES kind of guy, I was always a Sega Genesis guy. This game, it just, I can't say enough. I know a lot of you people really like it. And I know some people will say it's the best. Some people will say it's the worst. To me, this game is just amazing. This is everything the creep loves in a game. I like creepy stuff. I like dark themes. I like quick action. I like some challenge, but not to the point where I'm throwing the controller and punching the cat and all kinds of crap. And this game just seemed to have balanced everything perfectly. And they didn't really do it before, and they didn't do it afterwards. So, no further ado, Super Castlevania 4. Now, I know a lot of you are just like, yeah, I got that game. This game, and I know I mentioned it in my last video, but it was only because, to me, this is that epic. I can't express enough how much I love this game. So much that it hasn't even gone into my Super Nintendo yet. Time sucks. Let's see. Enough about Super Castlevania 4. You all know about it. But I love this game more than I love my right hand. And it's in my right hand, so I guess I love my hand too. The last thing I picked up, and I almost forgot to even mention this. Let me move this aside. I'm not going to go get them, because it's kind of a pain in the ass. But as I've been mentioning for a few months, myself and the little missus are in the market for a home. But we're taking our time. We want to get the right one. And in the market that we're in, it's tough. Like, things are either selling way higher than listing, or they're saying just a little bit below. So it's tough putting in a bid on the right homes. And she wants to stay in one town only. And the market here is real tough. And it's a real desirable location. So the market's all over the place. So we've just been taking our time. Well, a high school friend of ours is selling his mom's home and moving her in with him because she needs the extra care or what have you. So we went and looked at the house. We didn't really like it that much. A bid went in and it fell through. So when it relisted, just for shits and giggles, because the price is right, we went and looked at it again because, maybe something changed. I mean, it was messy when we first went in there. It was as if the lady had lived there and then they just left for the open house and came back. And we did go back in. They cleaned up a little bit more and whatever. And we're still not in love with the house, but I'm looking in this little crawl space just because I wanted to look at the roof. It's upstairs and make sure the roof is somewhat structurally sound. And I see this white box that catches my attention. And I recognize it. It's got little stripes on it. And I'm like, oh my God, that's a Sega Master System box. So I pick it up and I realize it's empty. I'm okay with that. And after I had picked that one up, I noticed there was a Sega Genesis box over there. I was like, oh my God. And then there was an original PlayStation box. And I was just like, you gotta be fucking kidding me. So I guess the point of this whole thing is I ended up messaging him saying, yeah, I hate to be that guy. We don't want to buy your house, but I happened to notice he had these boxes. And he was gracious enough to be like, yeah, you can have them. And I gave him like $11 for gas money because he's got to keep traveling back and forth from his place to his mom's place to move things around and whatever. And it's just right around the corner. But he dropped them off yesterday. I'm not going to go get them. I'll pop up a picture. I'm sure if you're on my social media, you've seen them already. I posted them all over. My Master System is all in the box and up on the shelf. My Genesis is not. I don't have the exact right Genesis for that box. I don't have the high definition graphics one. But everything else I do have for it. So I'm hoping to complete that pretty soon. So guys, that's everything. Over 20 minutes of just babbling. I was going to go into this, but I'm not going to. I'll post a couple of quick pictures at the end if you just want to see. It was a 3D printed kit. It was the very first one I've ever built. I still have to finish putting a few things together and then put the D-clip on it. But I'll talk about this in another video or whatever. My first 3D printed kit, and this thing was phenomenal. It was cheap, and it got here quick, and it was built in less than a day. And I hope you enjoy it. Like I said, I'll throw a couple of progress pictures up at the end if you care to stick around that long, and then after those, I'll just have my little thank you, so you won't be missing anything. So with that, guys, I hope everyone's summer is still going very well. I hope everyone's having a good time and being safe. And until I get back to you guys next time, take care.